currently facing, the City Council of Watertown is taking the extraordinary steps to limit the interaction between the general public. Effective midnight or 12 a.m. on March 26th, which would be Wednesday at midnight, the 26th. Midnight of the 26th.
This is the 23rd.
Thursday, essentially, is when it'll go into effect. Be it ordained by the City Council of City of Watertown, effective midnight, all restaurants, food courts, coffee houses, bars, breweries, distilleries, wineries, clubs, cafes, and other similar places of public accommodation offering food and beverage for on-site consumption, including all alcoholic licensees with on-sale privileges, are closed to on-site on-sale patrons. These businesses may continue to operate in order to provide takeout, delivery, curbside service, and drive-through services. Any business continuing to operate in order to provide off-site service should implement procedures to ensure social distancing and operate in compliance with federal, state health guidelines in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Effective midnight, March 26, all recreational facilities, public pools, health clubs, athletic facilities, and theaters, including movie theaters and or music entertainment venues, are directly to close and cease operations. Effective midnight, March 26, 2020, all hookah lounges, cigar bars, vaping lounges, or other similar businesses which allow for on-site consumptions are directed to cease allowing on-site consumption, but may continue to offer products for sale to consume off-site under the same conditions as bars and restaurants outlined in paragraph 1. Effective at midnight, all on the 26th, all arcades, bingo halls, bowling alleys, indoor climbing facilities, skating rinks, trampoline parks, or other similar recreational or entertainment facilities are directed to close and cease operations. The prohibitions and closures in this order do not apply to the following businesses: places of public accommodation that offer food and beverage for off-site consumption, including but not limited to grocery stores, markets, retail stores that offer food, convenience stores, pharmacies, drug stores, and food pantries, other than any portion of such businesses that would be subject to the requirements of paragraph 1. Room service in hotels, healthcare facilities, residential care facilities, congregate care facilities, and correctional facilities. Crisis centers, homeless centers, soup kitchens, and other similar institutions. Airport concessionaries, any emergency facilities necessary for the response to the current public health emergency or any other community emergency or disaster. This ordinance shall remain in effect until such time as amended or repealed, and any violation of this ordinance is subject to the general penalty provision, which will be provided to the public from the City Attorney, Matt Roby. That is the end of my motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Lallam and a second by Councilman Hoyer. Is there any discussion from the council?
Mayor Karen, this is Don.
Yes, Councilman.
Again, I'm on the line. This is Councilman Don Roby. I want to disclose I have a potential conflict here. As a part owner of a liquor license, there is a potential conflict in this situation. Under this scenario, I plan on voting on this issue, but I want to disclose the conflict, and I'll be very respectful. If any of the colleagues or people in the room have an issue with that, I'd like to hear about that. But I plan on voting, and I'll take input on that if any of you have any of it.
Thank you, Councilman Roby. Any other discussion?
I do have something.
Councilman Lallam?
I would like to just let the public know that we're not trying to limit businesses, we're just trying to limit interaction between people. So please provide, if you're providing takeout services and things of that nature, please continue to do that. We don't want to cause any hardships on actual financials, but at the same time, we got to respect the fact that we're in an unprecedented time and we have to do unprecedented measures to get there.
Thank you. Councilman Hoyer.
And I'm just going to back that up to kind of drive it home. I know a lot of us have already put things like this into play. Just to remind the public, the CDC is good with takeout. You're still good to be doing takeout, curbside delivery. That's still okay. Just as you receive things, wash your hands, proper sanitary practices. but don't feel like you're discouraged from still going out, getting takeout. You can still get delivery. That's still 100% good to go and okay. Just use a little common sense here. A lot of this is just preventing a lot of social tight spaces with folks. So for many of us, it's not going to change a ton, but just trying to take steps forward.
Thank you. And
Mayor?
I want the public to know that we will entertain any amendments that we have to as time goes on. This is kind of rushed, but we felt we needed to act quickly. So was that Councilman Y?
Mayor, how does this affect airports?
This does not. That was one of the exemptions, correct? Airports are exempt.
Okay, I missed that. Thank you.
Yep. Councilman Holeen?
Thank you, Mayor. I also just want to say that the City Council will be meeting in 2 weeks from today, and at that point, we hope that this resolution will be amended, revised. Hopefully, we'll be getting some good news. We can look at it all fresh. But in 2 weeks from today, which is also coinciding with the time limit that the CDC recommends for limiting public interaction, this seems to work out pretty well for the City of Watertown, hopefully. We hope and pray the best for the businesses, the employees, and the City of Watertown. And hopefully in 2 weeks we can look back at this and revise it.
Yep. Thank you.
Mayor, I got one.
Councilman Lallam?
I just want to make note that this does not affect the manufacturing industry and things of that nature. And any essential business that's deemed via, federal or state would not be implemented under the same rules. So, and we do recommend that people, if you are going to continue to do business, do it by phone, by walk-in, set appointments, things of that nature as well.
Right. Thank you.
So.
Anyone else? Councilman Hoyer?
If there is any confusion by any local businesses, is there someone they should contact just to have clarification on this?
I'll volunteer myself for that. If anybody would like to call.
The city attorney, Matt Roby, will field calls on this.
753-3585.
All right.
What was that number?
753-3585.
3585. 753-3585.
Right. All
All right.
right. Anything else? Oh, we have a question from,
Can the media person ask a question?
sure.
Is that okay? Do I need to come up?
Come to the microphone.
Mike Tanner from KWAT. This is not meant to be adversarial, but I have a question, and that is, if you're making a decision like this that is going to impact so many people personally by closing down businesses, and maybe Matt, this question would be directed toward you, why was this allowed to be done in executive session? Because I think any decision that's being made during this pandemic needs to be extremely transparent, especially when you are talking about people's livelihoods.
Sure. Matt, do you want to take that?
Thanks, Mike. Under there was a recently passed state statute that does allow for discussions related to security measures, and so I would argue that under this scenario, that statute would be applicable in this situation.
And to put, from the council aspect of it, this is something that we've talked about and trying to figure out how to limit it. We're very closely matching Huron's that was implemented at their council meeting, as well as I believe there's other other communities in Watertown or in South Dakota that are going to be doing the same type of implementation. I know that Sioux Falls has started to look at some of that as well.
Disagree with it, but
Right.
I'm going to be asked
Right.
a question.
Sure.
Right.
And rightfully
Absolutely.
so.
We're talking about this big, huge deal. How come you guys weren't allowed into the room to hear
Right.
the conversation? And I
Right.
won't be able to answer that.
We are feeling under pressure because of the presence of COVID-19 in our county right now. And we feel like time is of the essence. Every day, this virus multiplies so quickly that we just feel it would be more productive to act now and amend later if we find we've made a mistake and people hate it, rather than wait and let others get sick and the virus spread. So we're trying to be proactive and aggressive. Councilman Lallam. Or, I'm sorry, Councilman Vilhauer.
I think, Mike, from a practical standpoint, the conversation that we're having right now pretty well summarizes or pretty well states the same thing that we had in executive session. There was nothing said in executive session that we're not saying now. No intent whatsoever not to deceive the public in any way, shape, or form. But I hear your concern.
And I'm not saying that you said anything in executive session that you're not going to say here.
Right.
But I know in doing this as long as I have.
Sure.
When councils meet in executive sessions, people get suspicious about what's being said when there are no eyes or ears in the room.
Right, we understand that, and this is an extraordinary action for extraordinary times. We've never faced this before, and we felt this was necessary. If people believe it's too harsh, by all means, bring it on, and we will entertain that. We can change it as quickly as we enacted it. Councilman Hoyer?
Mike, I would just toss out too. I mean, we talk about risking people's livelihoods, jobs going away, stuff like that. Manufacturing is already determined essential under this, so it doesn't affect them. So as of right now, that's up to their employer, what they want to do there. Looking at the service industry, I myself, I work in the service industry as well. Most of them have already been enacting takeout, and those different venues of still making it work. The public has been pretty receptive to that, to help aid us through it. You know, it goes back to the public still taking advantage of it. It's scary stuff, but we're not closing businesses. It's on site. I mean, liquor stores, South Dakota has drive-up liquor stores. So if you're worried about that, that's still open. All your food that's still willing to do takeout, that's all open. It's just preventing us from going indoors and congregating more than anything. I mean, our local churches have already pulled the plug on people congregating. So it's just reflecting that down from up here as well, that we view that as a positive decision to make as a community. There's more measures that we're looking to take too, just to help get people through this. It's a lot, and it's scary, but again, we can always make more money. We can figure out things to take care of people. We can't make people healthy automatically. We can't get a life back if we lose somebody. So the gravity of this is bigger than the short-term bump we're going to hit. We're all going to take a hit, but
I don't disagree.
I know, and I know this is for your readership and your listeners. I know.
I'm just going to get questions about
Right.
it.
Absolutely.
I know the
Right.
mayor said that we're trying to expedite and do this, full speed ahead.
Right.
My argument would be, why couldn't you do that in an open session? And I'm gonna be asked that question.
Right.
So,
Well,
And
and
for
I'm
the,
just raising it.
yes, we discussed numerous different things in executive session. And this is an action that we discussed actually in the open before we went in. And really, won't tell you what we talked about in executive session, but we felt this is the right thing to do for our community, and we'll take the consequences, putting health and safety above everything else. Councilman Lallam?
I will say from my aspects, it takes 2 to 14 days for the symptoms to show up. Now we do have a confirmed case in Cottington County. It's going to be one of those that most people won't even know they have it until they potentially come down and get tested for it. So for me personally, it takes, the 2 to 14 days, plus it takes on average anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6 days to get it back from the labs. I mean, you're talking a 3-week window by the time you're all said and done, and we are on the side of caution. That's why we would look at it at our next council meeting. It is an unprecedented move, but at the same time, we're looking at community health, and I can't bring anyone back. I mean, you can try to spend money wherever you can to help out, but I can't bring people back from beyond.
I'm not being critical.
Right.
Right, no,
No,
we
I just,
understand.
so
Just
people
the
are
process
understanding
that
of it,
was
yeah.
used to get to this point.
Councilman Vilhauer?
Just to clarify, because we're referencing Cottington County, et cetera, this is strictly for Watertown. We are not making decisions outside of our own borders with this action.
Okay, anyone else? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Thank you. And Do we have another thing that we need to bring up?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, in light of the current health crisis that we are facing, we want to acknowledge that there are very real economic repercussions as well. There's a lot of people who are going to be losing jobs, losing their level of employment, and the city of Watertown wants to do whatever we can to help these families, these individuals, get through this hard time and keep our community strong. So in light of that, we would like, or I guess I would like to make a motion, an authorization to the city finance officer to write a special check in the amount of $150,000 coming from the sewer and garbage enterprise funds as a contribution to the Watertown Development Corporation to administer a 0% interest disaster revolving loan fund. With that said, that will be my motion.
So moved, or second?
So we have a motion by Helene and a second by Vilhauer. What discussion do we have?
I think it would be appropriate for WDC Director Chris Shilkin to speak a few words on this.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Over the past couple weeks, as this has been coming about, we wanted to come up with an idea that could help bridge the gap between now with what's happening and when final SBA regulations and other federal programs are available to people in small business. Once we wanted to get through this part, so now we've had other private enterprises offer up donations as well, so it'll be a public-private partnership in this loan fund. I believe we're on the utilities agenda next Monday as well to have the same request to them. So as we put together the final rules and regulations, we'll broadcast those. But as of right now, this is the plan moving forward. We'd have a 0% interest loan fund, and we would have an application with rules here coming out very shortly.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All right, so we had a motion and second. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. These are some pretty wonderful things that the city council just did for the community. And I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion by Lallam and a second by Helene. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.